সুপ্রিয় দর্শক সবাইকে স্বাগত জানাচ্ছি টিভিএন 24 আয়োজিত নিয়মিত অনুষ্ঠান টিভিএন অ্যানালিসিস। আমি হাবিব রহমান আছি আপনাদের সাথে। আজ ট্যাক্স বিষয়ে বিভিন্ন বিষয় নিয়ে কথা বলবো আমরা, এবং আমি মনে করি যারা দেখছেন ট্যাক্স সিজন চলছে ফুল সুইংয়ে। আজকের বিষয়ে not President Trump, no new executive orders, but some two tax loophole আমরা কথা বলবো। যে বিষয়গুলি নিয়ে আজকে স্পেশালি কথা বলবো সেগুলির মধ্যে অন্যতম থাকবে আর্ন ইনকাম ট্যাক্স ক্রেডিট, চাইল্ড ট্যাক্স ক্রেডিট, ফিউচার ট্যাক্স ক্রেডিট অ্যান্ড IRS হায়ারিং ফ্রিজ। এটি অনেক বড় ইম্প্যাক্ট ফেলবে সবার জন্য। হোয়াট টু প্রিপেয়ার ফর, আপনি কীভাবে প্রিপেয়ার করুন ফাইলিংয়ের জন্য, স্পেশালি আপনি যদি প্ল্যান করেন আপনি ইউ ক্যান বাই হাউস অর আপনার বিজনেসের জন্য লোন নেবেন, সো আপনার ফাইলিংটা একটু ডিফারেন্ট হতে হবে, একটু মানে বেশ ভালো মতো প্রিপারেশন সহ ডিফারেন্ট হতে হবে। হোয়াট শুড ইউ ডু, আপনি কী করবেন যদি আপনি ক্যাশে কাজ করে থাকেন ট্যাক্স ফাইলের আগে, সেই ব্যাপারে আলোচনা থাকবে। উবার, লিফট, 1099 মিসেলেনিয়াস, এটি একটি আলোচনা থাকবে। অ্যান্ড আপনি যদি সম্পূর্ণভাবে ক্যাশে ইনকাম করেন 1099 মিসেলেনিয়াস, আপনি কীভাবে ট্যাক্স ফাইল করেন, কারণ এর সাথে একটি অত্যন্ত গুরুত্বপূর্ণ বিষয় জড়িত, সেটি হচ্ছে আপনার হেলথ ইন্স্যুরেন্স। উইল টক অ্যাবাউট অল দিস থিংস। এর জন্য আজকে স্টুডিওতে আমার সাথে আছেন মাইকেল মোতাজিজ, CPA.
Thank you.
Welcome back again.
Thank you so much.
As usual, we'll have many things to discuss.
Sure.
Let's start with any new tax rule that we should know, any tax loophole that you can make us aware of things, and then we go from there to earn income credit. And people sometimes have a clear understanding, and sometimes I get mixed messages as if I'm hearing for the first time. Is it me, or is it happening to you too?
No, it's not just that. I mean, look, the earned income credit is really where the money's at, right? You got the earned income credit, you got the child tax credit, right? That's where you see the big refunds.
Okay.
Especially with the home care deduction, I mean, that's where people are really, really doing well this year. I mean, of all the files we did so far, only 2 people actually owed money this year, so it's actually really, really nice.
Okay, so let's start from any new changes that we should know. If not,
well, let's talk about, I mean, I've been getting a lot of people showing me text messages about this $1,400, okay?
Yes.
It's a scam, okay? Just so if anyone gets something like that, do not click it, do not do anything. It's a pure scam.
So if you're getting a text, you're getting an email, you're getting a call.
Everyone's getting text messages.
Text messages. And that's a scam. Stay away from that. Okay, that's one.
I just want to bring up. I've seen it a lot this week.
So let's go back to earned income credit. Just for everybody, we'll think that, this is the first time everybody's hearing. Just like that. Second is, what's the difference between earned income credit and child tax credit, even though
they're connected.
Okay.
Look, they are connected, right? Because as your earned income credit goes up, you have the child tax credit as well, right? That's where all the refunds are, right? So you're getting paid for each child, right? Not just to that, also the earned income credit counts when you have your kids in college,
right?
As a student. That helps, even past, 17.
Right, even past 17.
Right, exactly. So that's why it's really important to know, hey, I always ask every single one of my clients, especially with the people that are over 17, are they in school? If the answer is yes, bingo.
Okay, so that's one of the key thing. But in generally, who are the people that qualifies for earned income credit?
It's really people whose income is lower than basically most of the
25 grand.
No, that's the big one.
Okay.
But no. But look, it's how many people are in your household, right? That's the most important, right? How many kids you got,
so
right? The more kids you have,
right,
the higher that threshold can go up. Have as many kids as you can for tax season.
Okay, so let's throw a number. Let's say you are a...
Look, the real sweet spot is 18,000 and change, right? That's where you're going to maximize it.
I'm gonna bring 2 examples for you. One example, husband and wife married filing jointly, have 2 kids. Income somewhere between 80,000 to 100,000.
Yeah, that's not happening.
That's what?
That's not happening.
Why so?
Because that threshold is way too high.
Way too high. So their income has to be where?
I would tell you.
I forgot to include one more thing. And they have a home care exclusion.
How much is the home care?
Let's say 60,000.
Of course they're going to get the earned income credit and child tax credit.
Okay, so that's what I want to hear.
Of course.
Explain.
It's because look, you're reducing your income, right? So really, what's left over then? $20,000. You're in that exact, basically that sweet spot.
So
you're going to maximize your earned income credit. You're going to maximize everything.
Okay, so if you're a husband and wife, married, filed jointly, and you have 2 kids, you are at the really good spot. Given that
you
have
have
home
3
care,
kids, you're in a much better spot.
Okay, so 3 kids it works even better. Now you have a home care that's, let's say, at the 40,000 mark, right? And that's exclusion of that, meaning it's going to take away your income.
That's correct.
Right? You're not giving anything, but you're not getting back anything. Is that correct?
That's not correct.
Okay, what's correct?
Look, when we exclude home care, it doesn't matter. Forget about the earned income credit, child tax credit, right? You get the federal tax withheld, right? You get the state tax withheld. You get the city tax withheld. Right. That's what you get.
Okay.
Right. But it also reduces your income, so now you're qualifying for the earned income credits. Okay. Like I did one guy 2 or 3 days ago. He had a lot of home care, but look, he has 3 kids. Right. After he took the home care off, he's getting $22,000.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to throw in another.
But again, there's a part of it where how much withholdings that is.
Correct. So we all know
there's
that.
There's a lot of stuff that goes into play. But everyone needs to be aware, as I brought up multiple times, is just because you get the home care exclusion, you are still entitled to earned income credit. So if you see a no next to earned income credit, you need to question it.
You need to question your CPA or accounting guy, whoever it is. Let's go into your child tax credit.
Okay.
Who qualifies, and what's the sweet spot, and what is your suggestion?
Look, even when you make good money, you're still entitled to that child tax credit.
Your income doesn't
that
matter.
has nothing to do with it, right? Of course, it starts going down. Eventually, it goes way too high, right? But for everybody we're dealing with, we're not going to have that problem, okay?
Okay.
The other thing you want to be careful is everyone's like, oh, should I file separately? I'm married, I file separately. The answer is no.
The answer is
no, you should not.
You should not file separately.
Remember,
because that minimizes your.
Look, if one person's making $250,000 a year, and one's making $10,000 a year, that makes sense. How many of those do you think we're going to see? Not that many. Right. So maybe 1 out of every 4,000 files truly should be that way.
The ratio is that different.
Yes.
Okay. So
there's a lot of bad information everyone's been hearing, but no.
Okay. Good. Okay. Let's go into future tax credit. Let's talk about that.
Right. I mean, look, we've all heard about the $1,400. I think we spoke about it last time, right? For people who didn't get the stimulus, right? But again, look, there's a lot of stuff that's starting to roll off. And yes, we're going to bring up President Trump, right? We're going to see what stays. Right? But it's not just him, right? It's everybody. Right? They have to agree on something, and something has to be done because things are starting to roll off. Right? But right now, there's not, I wouldn't say a future tax credit. Every politician's saying one thing, right? Because they want to get votes.
Well, that's naturally that's
correct.
True. But what is that we should be looking out for? What should I'm throwing in a few things. The SALT credit, right? People who bought new houses, they have this high interest going into not going to their principal, but going into their mortgages.
Right, but everything's capped. SALT is a problem. But there's a way to get around SALT.
Okay, so let's stay on this topic. Let's stay on this topic because what we know, when President Trump was the first term, he limited that to $10,000.
He did that because if you think about it, take New York, take California out, those are the high tax states, right?
Correct.
So the rest of the country is like, yay.
Yes.
Right?
Well, that's political.
Right.
But as far as I am a person filing taxes, I am thinking, hey, that's unfair. I paid about $20,000.
So how do you get around it? There are 2 ways, right? One is if you buy a 2-family house, you could easily get around it, okay? Why? Because you can write up to $25,000, not 10, right? And that's not even if you're an active real estate person, right? That's what you could do.
Correct.
Right? If you hold a real estate broker license, real estate agent license, you don't have a limit.
There's no limit.
No.
In those cases. But for general people.
For general people, right? If you're a 2-family, you're gonna be able to get around it.
There's a way to get around it.
Yes, there's definitely a way to get around it.
So you can.
If you're a business owner with an S corp, there's another way around it.
You're making me laugh. I'm saying light bulbs. That's a good thing. Okay.
Is it?
Now, লিপি রাজি বলছেন সবার টাকা যখন শেষ হবে শেষের দিকে ট্যাক্স ফাইল করব। কেন জানাবেন? কোনো কি এক্সট্রা বেনিফিট পাবেন শেষের দিকে করলে নাকি আপনার হাতে টাকা থেকে যাবে? ভেরি ভেরি গুড। ওকে, সো let's come to a serious topic. Everybody's preparing to file taxes.
Correct.
And everybody's need and filing requirements are different.
That's correct.
I want to give us scenario-based 2 or 3 examples. How should you be prepared when you're filing taxes, especially this year?
All right, so look, I'll tell you what I've been seeing in the office, right? Everyone's trying to get that refund, they're going on vacation or whatever's going on, right? But the problem is I've also had to do so many amendments because people are like, oh, I just got this in the mail. Right? It could be the Uber Lyft settlements. It could be, I forgot about this W-2. You know, it's really affecting everybody. So look, if you're going to rush to file, make sure you have every single thing. Remember every job you worked at, right? Also remember, Robinhood isn't all out for everybody, right?
Yeah.
So if you have stocks that have gains in it, not everything is reported to the IRS. The IRS may see what you sold it for, but they don't know what you bought it for.
Right.
So what happens? They get the nice letter. This long, maybe it could be 6 months from now, it could be 7 months from now, right? And that's something we have to handle.
Okay, so that's one scenario.
That seems,
I think that
W-2s, interest I've seen, well, obviously the stocks.
Okay. That brings another topic, capital gain. How people will handle capital gain this year, and also there's one other thing that's attached to it, because you have Bitcoin jumped up. So make believe that you had a Bitcoin or 2, and then it was 40,000. Now it's 100,000, 106,000. So what happens to you?
Look, it's really how long you've held this asset for, right? If it's over a year, you got that long-term capital gain, there's nothing to worry about, right? If you're not, it's just considered income that's not been taxed, and it's causing mayhem.
Such as?
Such as big, regular gains, short-term gains.
Short-term gains.
Right? But the good news is, the people who have been seeing it, and I've been seeing it, is every year I work with my clients, I make sure I track all their losses. So when they see this big gain, it's not a surprise.
So you offset.
We offset it all.
Okay. Now,
I would tell you that's about 90% of the people.
Okay. There are a lot of people who has quite a bit of gain, let's say. And we hear regularly that, hey, if you have gain, don't sell it. Rather go to a bank and borrow money so you have a loan and you're not taking out that profit. Myth or facts?
No, I mean, you can do options, right? You
Yes.
options to it. You can do it like Merrill Lynch used to offer at 2%, which was amazing, right? But yeah, no, look, how do the rich people get money? It's real simple. And how do they not pay taxes? They actually get loans on their assets, right? What's the greatest thing in the loans? Even with the refinancing of a house, I take the money out of the house, right? It's not income.
It's a loan.
That's right.
Therefore,
Loans,
no taxes.
That's correct. More importantly, the interest I can expense.
Interest going to expenses.
That's right.
So if you're playing with the big dollar amounts, this is where
you can do it. But again, it's about setting yourself up right? Unless you're doing it in a Schedule C or you're doing it in a corporation, if you're going to do this stuff, you need to sit down with your CPA and get the right strategy involved.
Okay, let's talk about somebody who's planning to buy a house in 2025. We hear many things. We have been hearing many things. That interest rate may stay where it is today or may be coming down after June. We are hearing many conflicting reports. As for the Fed, the Fed is saying we have to slow down. And they didn't cut in January 29. And March, probably most likely 19, is going to be the same. At the same time, people are waiting out on the sideline that, okay, it may come down and it's my time to pounce on it, right? People who are preparing to buy a house, option one, preparing to buy a house this year. What would be your preparation? How would your preparation should look like so that you are in that spot?
If you're going to buy a house this year, the first thing you should do is go to your CPA, file an extension.
Extension.
Yes.
Don't file it.
Don't file it.
Get an extension.
File an extension. Why? That gives you to October to file your taxes, right? You'll know by October if you're going to buy a house or not. And it also gives you an option by having an extension that if you need to pivot some way on the tax return, you have that ability to do so. If you file it, you might as well it's in stone.
Okay.
You can't change it. The banks don't like to see an amended return.
Okay, so a lot of people, they file and they amend and they think they're okay. But banks, it's not okay.
It's not okay. it's really not okay. Because look, now the underwriter goes, why did you amend?
Yeah,
what are you hiding? But if you are on extension and you have the first return out that's perfect, no questions, easy underwriting process.
Right.
So why would you try to make a mess of it?
Okay, so anybody who's listening, preparing to buy a house and haven't filed yet, as of yet, what are the things that that person should be looking out and how he should be planning not only filing the tax return, but preparing himself to get to his first home?
So look, obviously, talk to a good real estate agent, right? Talk to a good mortgage person, right? They will recommend, especially the mortgage person will recommend, hey, this is what the tax return needs to look like to qualify for the house you are looking at, right?
Right.
So that, like, I have like 8 loans right now, right, with clients that are buying houses. Every single one of those have been filed on extension. Because you never know what's going to happen. Either, oh, I forgot I had a car loan. Oh, I have to do this, or something comes up.
If you're preparing to buy a house and you're preparing to take a loan, take a car,
that is the biggest mistake you could do.
Explain that to me, because I failed myself many times and they don't listen. What's the issue here?
So the issue is, this is the issue. Say I go get another car, right? And now my payment is $600, right? Well, that's factored into what they call the debt to income ratio. What does that mean, right? That's your all your debt plus the new principal interest payment. And look, that ratio really can't break a 48 unless you do an FHA, which you don't want to do anyways, right? So that's going to really derail you. More importantly, if that's the case, filing an extension is why it's important.
Right.
Because sometimes people's cars just break down. They need a new car. What are they going to do? True. They got to live their life, right? So if you're on extension, there's a way to pivot. There's a way to do the tax file a certain way. So one, you get the car and you qualify for the loan.
Right. Before I move on to a different topic, I want to touch on what we talked about last week's home care and CityPAP. So basically it's the same thing, 2 different words. So a lot of people who are watching have getting a lot of calls from PPL directly saying, hey, you need to sign up with us.
Yeah, they're getting this, they're getting emails,
right.
Of course.
You're going to text, emails, or letters that you need to sign up with us, otherwise you're going to lose your home care. This is one part. Second part, many of them are waiting to file taxes, and they have this exclusion going on. Some people think that exclusion means I'm getting a whole lot of money back. That's another myth or facts you can explain to us. And the third is, how do they maximize this advantage for their advantage?
Look, let's talk about the home care exclusion. It's not going away. People have this bad idea it's going away. It's not going away as long as you stay in PPL. A lot of people have been getting these emails, right? It says you have till March 28th to sign up. Look, if you're getting a home care exclusion, sign up. It's not going to hurt you, because you're going to get that home care deduction. You're going to get to move forward.
Right. So I want to explain this to you. যারা home care চিঠি পাচ্ছেন বা টেক্সট পাচ্ছেন যে PPL এ সাইন আপ করতে হবে, do it. এটাতে কোনো ক্ষতি নেই, আপনার পক্ষে কোনো ক্ষতি নেই. It's fine. That's exactly what you said.
That's exactly what it is. There's no point in delaying it, right? Because you know you're not going to
do it anyway. March 1st.
28th.
28th. Okay, fine. Keep going.
Right. So, but it's not going away. The home care exclusion is still on the table. It's not going anywhere as long as you stay in the PPL. Now, you move the PCA. Well, you're not getting home care exclusion at all. You can't take care of the same person that lives with you. So, I mean, those people are in a different boat. But for 99.9% of these people, PPL is the way to go. Just sign up.
Just sign up. Okay. So, আপনাদের প্রশ্নের উত্তর হবে, just please go sign up PPL এ, কোনো অসুবিধা নেই. There's a question Nazmul Hussain asks, does EITC calculate on gross income or on adjusted gross income? Adjusted gross income.
That's why you still qualify for the earned income credit even after the home care deduction.
Okay. Now, what should you do if you have a job that fully pays you in cash?
That's an important thing. So what should you do? I tell my clients that, hey, listen, I get paid in cash. It's okay. You can still file your tax return. Look, just bring bank statements, right? Obviously, you're putting cash in the bank.
Right.
You got proof. The problem is the people who don't do that or don't have any backup, right? The IRS can say, no, you're not getting the earned income credit, even though you're really entitled to it. So I make sure all my clients that do in cash, they have some type of backup.
Give me an example.
Bank statements.
Bank statement.
You go to the bank, you put cash in, right? How are you going to live, right?
Right.
You got to.
Okay, so
That's what the IRS wants. Well, the people who get denied from it,
Yeah.
I always go back to the IRS and say, look, and I circle cash, 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 and then look, they get it released.
Okay, so even if you're earning cash, put it in a bank.
Right, because look, they all do. They have to live their life. They're not going to live their whole life in cash, right? You got to either pay rent, you got to pay credit cards, groceries, something, right?
Right.
It's going to show.
Right.
Right? So that's what I tell everybody to do, and make sure that you have this document backed up.
Correct.
Because you're safe.
Okay, ফারজানা লতিফা আপনি প্রশ্ন করেছেন 40 ঘন্টার বেশি কি কাজ করা যাবে না? Her question is, can I work more than 40 hours? The simple answer should be yes, but where? কোথায় আপনি কাজ করছেন? Home care or a departmental store or office? I mean, in normal situation, you can do overtime anywhere.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
Look, you're either going to be salary where that doesn't count, right? And then you have the 40 hour, and then you have the time and a half overtime.
Okay. This is a good question. I think we touched on it last week, but I'm going to try to do it again. Mohammed Azam, he said, home care is telling us get a license.
That's PCA now, don't do it.
I want you to explain this.
Okay.
Mohammed Azam এবং আপনারা যারা শুনছেন Mohammed Azamের মতো যারা আছেন, প্লিজ লিসেন টু ইট, খুব মনোযোগ দিয়ে শুনবেন। হোম কেয়ার যেসব হোম কেয়ার আপনাকে বলছে টেক এ লাইসেন্স, why?
Because that is PCA. That is saying, okay.
That's not city PAP.
Nope. That's correct.
Should they take it?
No.
Why not? Explain.
Because then you can't take care of the person who lives with you, right? Then you're not getting a home care deduction. And look, if you're on Medicaid, you're losing it because it'll be fully taxable. You make, $80,000 in home care.
Right.
It's over.
Yeah. So, simple question answer is Mohammed Azam আপনার জন্য হোম কেয়ার যে হোম কেয়ার থেকে আপনাকে বলছে যে টেক এ সার্টিফিকেট, আসলে এই সার্টিফিকেটের প্রয়োজন পড়ে পিসিএ করার জন্য। প্রবলেম হচ্ছে পিসিএ আপনি আপনার ভাই বোন বাবা মা কারোর জন্য করতে পারবেন না। ইউ ক্যানট ডু ইট ফর ইউর মাম, ইউ ক্যানট ডু ইট ফর ইউর ড্যাড। আপনি যদি একই বাসায় থাকেন, আপনার বাসা থাকে কেউ, ইউ ক্যানট ডু ইট। আপনাকে করতে হবে এমন জনের জন্য যিনি আপনার সাথে সম্পৃক্ত নন। ফার্স্ট। সেকেন্ড হচ্ছে, দ্য সেকেন্ড ইজ মোস্ট ইম্পর্টেন্ট, PCA, there is no home exclusion. There is no home exclusion.
No, because you're not taking care of a person that lives with you.
That is correct, but you're going to lose your Medicare.
Of course.
You're going to, because
that's what I was telling
you.
Go
over the income.
Of course, it's very simple.
Okay, so PCA আরেকটি প্রবলেম হচ্ছে আপনি যে ইনকামটি করবেন এটা আপনি যে এক্সক্লুশনটা নেন এটা পারবেন না। It's going to be pure W2. That means যে মেডিকেয়ারের জন্য যে আপনি কোয়ালিফাই করেন লো ইনকামের জন্য, আপনি কিন্তু তখন কোয়ালিফাই করবেন না, আপনার মেডিকেয়ারটা হারিয়ে যাবে। আর মেডিকেয়ার হারালে তো forget it, আপনি শেষ। So forget it. Farzana Latifa came back, she said PPLA. Okay, so her initial question was, can I work more than 40 hours in PPL?
It's really up to home care agency.
So আপনার প্রশ্নের উত্তরটা হচ্ছে আপনি যদি
because everybody gets assigned a certain amount of hours.
Correct.
But I mean, if you're taking care of two parents, yes, of course.
Yeah. So আপনি যদি এখন কোনো হোম কেয়ার আন্ডারে থেকে থাকেন, আপনি ওভার 40 আওয়ার্স করছেন, PPL will do the same thing. Okay. তো এই ব্যাপারটা আপনি একটু বুঝে নেবেন। যদি দুজনেরটা করে থাকেন তাহলে তো আপনি ডেফিনেটলি 40 আওয়ার্সের উপরে হয়ে যাওয়ার কথা। সেক্ষেত্রে আপনি একটু আলোচনা করে নেবেন, বাট আমার মনে হয় আরও ডিটেলস পাওয়া দরকার আছে এখানে।
But look, let me just jump in, right?
Yeah.
If you're worried about that, look, my idea is, hey, one parent use this home care agency, the next parent to pick a different one.
Yeah.
And you don't have to even worry about it.
I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say anything, but that's a remedy.
Yes.
I would say that's a remedy to handle that kind of
Exactly.
situation. Okay, so let's take a call.
Sure.
All right, কে আছেন আমাদের সাথে ফোনে?
হ্যালো,
জি শুনছি।
আমি কোয়েকশন করছিলাম যে আমার তো দুটা বাচ্চা আছে, আমার ডিভোর্স হয়ে গেছে। আমি এখন ট্যাক্স ফাইলে কি আমার দুটা বাচ্চাকে আমি ধরাবো না আমার এক্স হাজবেন্ড ক্লেম করবে?
ওকে, আপনাকে কি একটা প্রশ্ন করতে পারি? আপনার ডিভোর্সটি কি এবছর হয়ে গেছে একদম পাকাপাকি?
না 3 ইয়ার্স।
3 ইয়ার্স। তো আপনি এর আগে যখন ট্যাক্স ফাইল করেছেন গত বছর, আমি ধরে নিচ্ছি তখন আপনি ডিভোর্স ছিলেন।
হ্যাঁ।
তো তখন কিভাবে করেছিলেন?
তখন তো একটা বাচ্চা আমি শুধু ক্লেম করছিলাম।
আরেকটা বাচ্চাকে আপনার হাজবেন্ডকে ক্লেম করেছিলেন?
জি জি।
আচ্ছা, এখন দুটি বাচ্চা আপনার সাথে থাকে?
ওরা প্রথম থেকে আমার সাথে আছে।
প্রথম থেকে সব সময় থাকে আপনার সাথে, এই তো?
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ, জি,
আচ্ছা।
উনি চাইল্ড সাপোর্টে।
হ্যাঁ, এবং কোন স্টেটে আছেন আপনি?
জি সরি,
কোন স্টেট? নিউ ইয়র্ক স্টেট?
না মিশিগান।
Michigan. Okay, no problem. Her question: she is divorced. She has 2 kids underage, and they live with her. When she files taxes, can she claim them to her tax return?
But there's a divorce, right?
Divorce, yes.
Yes. So look, most of the time that's settled in a divorce decree of who can claim which child.
It's a divorce decree.
It'll say in divorce, okay, this person's going to be able to claim this. I mean,
Okay.
sometimes some people work it out.
Yeah.
One kid,
Yeah,
right?
That's correct. But I was asking her, when she filed last year, how did she file? Was she divorced last year as well? So she said, yes, it's been 3 years, and last year she filed 1 child for herself and her
Right,
former
that's
husband.
what most people do.
That's the former
I mean, then you have the bad situations where the first day tax season, they're trying to file as fast as they can.
Yeah, whoever gets the first
Correct.
There's no return.
Correct.
Once the money is dispersed.
Correct, because then the second
Okay,
person
let me explain to her. So আপনি যিনি ফোন করেছেন, আপনার বাচ্চা যদি আপনার সাথে থাকে, নরমালি নিয়ম হচ্ছে ট্যাক্স 6 মাস যদি থাকে তাহলে আপনি ক্লেম করতে পারেন তাদেরকে। তো সাধারণত ডিভোর্স ডিক্রি যেটি হয়ে থাকে সেখানে লেখা থাকে যে আপনি একটি ধারা থাকে যে আপনি আপনার বাচ্চাকে ক্লেম করতে পারবেন নাকি আপনার হাজবেন্ড যিনি ছিলেন আগে ইতিপূর্বে তিনি করবেন। এটির কোনো সমঝোতা আছে কিনা আমরা এখনো জানিনি, আমি জিজ্ঞেস করতে ভুলে গেছি। সো এটি একটি ব্যাপার, যদি না থাকে তাহলে আপনি, যেহেতু বাচ্চারা আপনার সাথেই থাকে, ইউ ক্যান ক্লেম বোথ অফ দেম। এটি হচ্ছে আসল কথা। আরও যদি প্রশ্ন থাকে আপনারা আমাদের কাছে জিজ্ঞেস করতে পারেন। তাসমিরা বেগম হচ্ছে, হাউ মাচ উইল পিপিএল পে?
Look, it's going to be very similar to what you have now.
ওকে, সো সত্য কথা হচ্ছে আপনার কোনো কিছুই পরিবর্তন হবে না যতদূর আমরা জানি। নাথিং উইল চেঞ্জ। ইফ ইউ আর মেকিং $20 আজকে ধরে নেন এবিসি হোম কেয়ারের কাছ থেকে, উই ডোন্ট নো, আমরা জাস্ট বলছি এবিসি, তাহলে আপনি যখন পিপিএল এ সাইন করবেন আপনার ওই $20 থাকবে। এটি বাড়া কমার সম্ভাবনা কম, অ্যাটলিস্ট যতটুকু আমরা এখন পর্যন্ত জানি। কাজে আমি মনে করি না এখানে খুব একটা বেশি কিছু আছে। ওকে, গোয়িং ব্যাক টু দ্য ক্যাশ জবস। Uber, Lyft, kind of cash, not necessarily because they get a 1099. What is your advice for them?
Look, for them, they're going to file like they always do. But what I've been seeing and where we have to be extremely careful on is the Uber and Lyft settlements, right? They stole the money, yet now we're getting taxed on it, right?
Yeah, they stole the money from the drivers.
Right, and now they have to pay taxes on this money, right? Because they're getting
How sweet.
Right. Right? So you guys are getting 1099 miscellaneouses.
Correct.
This is where it's really important. You got to be careful who you go to file taxes, because why? If you can file a 1099 miscellaneous in 2 ways. One on a Schedule C taxi, right? Like always. Or you can do it as other income, because on the 1099 miscellaneous it says other income. So you could do that. What's the problem with that one where you just do other income?
Right.
Now your income just jumped that high.
Higher.
So what happens? You may not qualify for Medicaid. Right? Because say you got, just for argument's sake, $15,000.
Correct.
And now suddenly my income's 65. Yeah, I'm getting a better tax break on it, but are you really going to do a tax break for Medicaid for the family?
Over threshold.
That's right.
Okay, so generally you handle taxes every day.
So what I always do is, look, I play it both ways, right?
So what's the settlement look like for an individual, by the way, in generally speaking?
They're all over the place. It depends how much they worked those years.
So let's say somebody who
I've seen ones that are $300. I've seen ones that are, $19,000.
So up to $19,000.
Oh yeah.
So that's going to definitely put
Correct.
you.
That will just kill you. And
Correct.
look, you have to focus on that. And I always look and say, okay, how many people thousand? I look at the Medicaid map, make sure everybody's good, and then I make the decision on which way to go.
Okay, so যারা উবার লিফটে আছেন, আপনারা অনেকে জানেন আপনারা একটি বড় চেক পেয়েছেন। কারো কারো ক্ষেত্রে 1,000, 2,000, কারো কারো ক্ষেত্রে 19,000, just like you were saying.
I'm just giving an example,
so,
right?
It's just an example. অনেক বড় করে বলা হয়েছে, বাট ধরে নিন 10,000। আপনি যখন এটা করবেন, আপনি 1099ও পাবেন উবারের কাছ থেকে। এটিও আলাদা একটি কাগজে আসবে। আপনি যদি দুটাই একসাথে ফাইল করেন, আপনি কিন্তু মেডিকেয়ার যে থ্রেশহোল্ড আছে 65,000 এর উপরে চলে যাবেন। তখন আপনার মেডিকেয়ারটা হারিয়ে যাবে। কাজেই যখন এটি ট্যাক্স ফাইল করবেন, মেক শিওর করবেন একজন ভালো সিপিএর সাথে আপনি বসেন। Very, very important.
It's really important. Aside from that, like a lot of these shops, like they want you in and out, right?
Right.
So what happens is they're not focusing on this, right?
Correct.
And it may cause a real problem for you. You just don't realize it yet. because you come up to your renewal, and now what are you going to do?
Last topic, and I want to really elaborate because we touched on Uber and Lyft and the miscellaneous income that they're going to get. And there is one topic that how you can handle your 1099 miscellaneous, and this is also attached to your health care. But let's make believe this person is not Uber or Lyft, general population, general.
And it's the general same rules.
Okay.
Exactly like I said. You could handle 1099 miscellaneous in a bunch of different ways. On the 1099 miscellaneous, you got rent, you got other income.
Yeah.
It depends what's in that box, right? If it says other income, exactly like I said, you got to be extremely careful, right? If it's rent, look, it's going to go Schedule E.
Okay, so that's another option. Now, you and I were talking about that there's a free hiring freeze in IRS.
Correct.
So does it mean that, I mean, in your experience for the last couple of days, people who are filing electronic, people who are filing paper or amendments, are you experiencing delays, or what's your advice for those
It's only been, 11 days
yes,
now, right? So we're not even that 21-day threshold, right? So we really don't know, but do I think it's going to have an impact? Of course it's going to have an impact. It's not just that. People who are waiting on amendments and all this other stuff, it's going to impact that and on the federal level.
Let's take another phone call.
Sure.
কে আছেন আমাদের সাথে?
হ্যালো,
জি শুনছি, বলুন।
আসসালামু আলাইকুম হাবিব ভাই, আমি একটা হোম 2 ফ্যামিলি হাউস কন্ট্যাক্ট করছি। আমার ইনকাম হলো এবছর ৬৮,০০০ আর গত বছর ছিল ৫৪,০০০। এবছর আমার ছেলেকে বিয়ে দিতে আমি ছেলের ইনকাম আছে প্রায় ৪৫,০০০। তাহলে আমি কি লোন পাইতে পারি বা ইন্টারেস্ট রেট কেমন হবে?
আচ্ছা, আপনি লাইনে থাকেন, আপনাকে একটু জিজ্ঞেস করি, আপনার এবছর ইনকাম ৮৪,০০০?
না,
68। গত বছর ছিল ৫৪,০০০, রাইট?
৫৪,০০০।
গত বছর ৫৪,০০০, এবছর 68। আপনার ছেলের ইনকাম যদি যোগ করেন তাহলে কত হয়?
ছেলের আছে 45।
তো ৬৮ আর ৪৫, এই তো?
জি।
এবং আপনি একটি বাড়ি দেখছেন যেটির দাম কত বললেন? 1.1 মিলিয়ন, 2 ফ্যামিলি হাউস। এটি কি প্রথম বাসা হবে আপনার?
এটা প্রথম বাসা। আমার আগে একটা বাসা ছিল, আমি বিক্রি করে দিচ্ছি, আবার এটা আবার এখন প্রথম।
হ্যাঁ, আপনার প্রশ্ন হচ্ছে আপনি কি লোনটা পাবেন কিনা, এই তো?
হ্যাঁ, বা ইন্টারেস্ট রেট কত হবে?
Alright, so his last year income was 54,000. This year income is 65 or 68, something like that. His son also has W2 where he 45,000. He's looking at a property which is 1.1 million. Will he get the loan?
So again, if there's no car loans, credit cards, all that stuff, if they don't see SBA payments coming out of your bank account, there's a lot of different things. But also remember, on a 2-family house, we can use proposed rental income as income. Right? So if we can get the appraiser to say, okay, he's going to $2,500, right? He can use that as additional $2,500 a month to cover it.
Correct.
You know? But again, it's $100,000. It depends on the property taxes, right? Property taxes, insurance, what I just said about the rental income. Right? Credit cards, loans. Right?
So আপনার উত্তরটি হবে এরকম, আপনার যদি কোনো যেভাবে যতটুকু শুনলাম, আপনার যদি কোনো এক্সট্রা লোন না থাকে, ধরে নিন আপনার কোনো SBA লোন নেই, আপনার কোনো গাড়ির লোন নেই, দেন আপনার সিচুয়েশন বেশ ভালো, খারাপ না। আর 2 ফ্যামিলি হাউস যেহেতু কিনছেন, there is a part of আপনার একটা অংশ আপনি রেন্ট আউট করে দিবেন, সেটার ইনকাম দেখাবেন।
How much down payment, how big the loan is.
So আরো কয়েকটি ব্যাপার আছে। এটা আপনাকে একজন ভালো CPA এর সাথে বসতে হবে। আপনি মাইকেল মুতাজিদের কাছে বসতে পারেন বা অন্য কারোর কাছে বসতে পারেন। আপনাকে কাগজপত্র নিয়ে এসে বসতে হবে, কারণ এখানে অনেক ডিটেইলস জানা দরকার আছে। আপনার ইনকাম টু লোন রেশিও জানাটা খুব প্রয়োজন। আপনার ইনকাম টু লোন রেশিও ইজ ভেরি ইম্পর্টেন্ট, রাইট? আর যেহেতু 2 ফ্যামিলি হাউস, ইউ উইল হ্যাভ ইনকাম। এটা আপনার পক্ষে কাজ করবে। It's going to be on your favor.
It's actually going to be in your favor, correct. That's why it's much easier to always buy a 2-family house than it is to 1 family.
And this is going to be the first house. Oh, sorry. He had a house which he sold a year ago, last year.
Okay.
So this is going to be, another property he's buying, but not the first time.
Well, but his son's first time. So make your son the primary borrower.
Right.
And you should be the co-borrower.
So, আপনাকে একজন ভালো CPA এর সাথে বসতে হবে, অবশ্যই বসতে হবে। আপনার সুযোগটি আছে, দিতে পারেন।
You get the better rate.
Yeah, and 2 family house 1.1, আমি বলবো it's a steal in the এই মার্কেটে। আমাদের সাথে কে আছেন ফোনে? কে আছেন আমাদের সাথে?
আসসালামু আলাইকুম, আমার নাম বিধান কৃষ্ণ সাহা। আমি আপনাদের কাছে একটা গুরুত্বপূর্ণ প্রশ্ন জানতে চাই রিগার্ডিং সিটি পাব। এখন আমাকে হোম কেয়ার এজেন্সি বলতেছে আপনি সিটি পাব থেকে লেক্সা চলে যান। লেক্সা কি? আপনি নার্স। কার নার্স? ও অন্য এক লোকের নার্স। ওই লোকের টাকা আপনি পাবেন, আপনার আব্বার টাকা ওই লোকে পাবে। তো আমি জিনিসটা খুব কনফিউজ। আমি দেশে একজন নাগরিক, আমি যাই করতে চাই আইনগত করতে চাই। এখন আমি সিটি ভ্যাব থেকে আমার এই অন্য আরেকজনের সেবা করুম, এটা কি আইনগত কোনো ভিত্তি আছে?
ওকে, আপনি একটু লাইনে থাকবেন, আপনি কিন্তু ফোনটি রাখবেন না, হ্যাঁ?
আচ্ছা ভাইয়া,
আপনি শুনুন মনোযোগ দিয়ে, কারণ এটি অত্যন্ত গুরুত্বপূর্ণ ব্যাপার। এবং যে কথাটি আপনি বলছেন সেটি হচ্ছে যে আপনি আইন মান্য করে কাজটি করতে চান। আমার মনে হয় গত সপ্তাহে আমরা এরকম একটি প্রশ্ন পেয়েছিলাম। His question is, he's been told that do PCA and do somebody else's home care while he's doing his home care within his family. What would be your advice?
No. That's just not going to be good for you, because again, even though you're writing off the other stuff, you're still going to have a problem. We don't know how big that home care could be.
Okay, so let me just
$20 an hour for it.
Right.
I mean, you think about
আপনি
it.
সিডিপ্যাপ করছেন, হোম কেয়ার করছেন, আপনি সেখানেই থাকুন। আপনি যে কথাটি আপনাকে বলা হচ্ছে আপনি এটা করবেন না।
Okay, another question is very serious thing. I don't understand why these people are pressuring me to be a nurse.
Good
I don't
question.
know.
Very good question.
I never went to any nurse school. I never took any nurse certificate. I don't know how to push an injection. If the patient I'm taking care, if he has passed, then if he sue me, then that will be happen to me.
ওকে, আপনাকে তারা পরামর্শ দিচ্ছেন, এতে আপনার লাভ নেই, তাদের লাভ আছে। ওকে, আপনি কিন্তু বিপদে পড়বেন, আপনি এটা করতে যেন না। আপনাকে দাদা আমি বলছি, ডোন্ট ডু ইট।
না, আমাকে অলরেডি স্টেট ডিপার্টমেন্ট বলছে, ইউ বিলিভ ইট অর নট, স্টেট ডিপার্টমেন্ট ক্লিয়ার বলছে সিডি ব্যাপের কোনো পরিবর্তন হয় নাই, শুধু পরিবর্তন হচ্ছে আমাদের বাঙালি এজেন্সিগুলো কেউ পায় নাই। দ্যাট ইজ দ্য অনলি চেঞ্জ হিয়ার ইজ। এরা কিন্তু আমাকে স্টেট ডিপার্টমেন্ট এটা অ্যাসিউর করছে যে নাথিং হ্যাজ বিন চেঞ্জ,
That's correct.
not raised anything.
That is correct.
তা ভাই এইভাবে যে সবাইকে কনফিউজ করতেছে, থাউজেন্ড পিপলকে নার্স বানাইতেছে, এক লোক নার্স হচ্ছে, ইভেন সে নার্সের অ্যানও লিখতে পারে না।
আপনি সঠিক বলেছেন। আমি জানি আপনাদের মতো অনেকে যারা আছেন বিরক্ত করছেন বিভিন্ন এজেন্সি। ডোন্ট লিসেন টু দেম। যেরকম তাসমিনা বেগম লিখেছেন, এজেন্সি এরকম বলতেছে, সবাইকে জাস্ট ইগনোর করুন। তাসমিনা বেগম, আপনি একেবারে সঠিক কথা বলেছেন। ফরশেদা শপটা ইজ ওয়াচিং, থ্যাংক ইউ ফর ওয়াচিং। ইউ আর সেইং সামথিং।
I'm saying to you, the confusion is because of the home care marketers, right? Because basically the government agency is taking this over, right?
Correct.
So that's all it is.
ওকে, সো কনফিউশনটা আসলে তেমন কিছু না, কনফিউশনটা বাড়ানো হচ্ছে। আপনি খালি একটা জিনিস মনে রাখবেন, দ্য গভর্নমেন্ট ইজ টেকিং ওভার। পিপিএল এর মাধ্যমে এই যে সার্ভিসটা দেওয়া হচ্ছে, এটা তারা নিয়ন্ত্রণে নিয়ে আসছেন। এর চেয়ে তেমন কোনো পরিবর্তন এখনও আসেনি। এবং এরকম যখন বড় কোনো পরিবর্তন আসবে, হিউজ চেঞ্জ, বিগ চেঞ্জ, আপনারা টিভিএনে শুনবেন প্রথমে, মাইকেল মোতাজিদ উইল বি হিয়ার, আই উইল বি হিয়ার, কেউ না কেউ থাকবে, আপনারা শুনবেন। এই ধরনের পরিবর্তন আসে, বিভ্রান্ত হবেন না। এনি লাস্ট ওয়ার্ড ফর পিপল হু আর ওয়াচিং, হু আর প্রিপেয়ারিং টু ফাইল ট্যাক্সেস অর coming to anybody?
Exactly. I would tell you, make sure you have all your stuff. And look, if you think you're going to buy a house, don't be afraid to ask for extension, okay? It's very simple. It should take anybody 30 seconds to do, right? But make sure you have all your stuff. If you have Robinhood, if you think you didn't sell anything, just check. I just don't want to see everyone.
Unless you need money right away and you're planning to buy a house.
But it could be delayed. It could cause a delay when it doesn't match.
Winter West, without license, how can people do be a nurse? Absolutely right, you can't, and you don't want to be. Just stay there. Mike, I have to say goodbye to you. Goodbye to everybody else. We will see them next time, and we'll have new information, and we'll discuss those.
Perfect.
Okay. আপনারা যারা এতক্ষণ অনুষ্ঠানটি দেখছেন, আশা করি আপনাদের বিভিন্ন প্রশ্ন উত্তর দিতে পেরেছি এবং অনুষ্ঠানটি ভালো লেগেছে। এই অনুষ্ঠানটি চলে টিভি অ্যানালিসিস মানডে থ্রু ফ্রাইডে, এভরি ডে নিউ ইয়র্ক ইস্টার্ন স্ট্যান্ডার্ড টাইম। কাজে চোখ রাখবেন, কোনো পরিবর্তন আসলে জানতে পারবেন আমাদের কাছ থেকে। সবাই ভালো থাকবেন, শুভরাত্রি।
টিভিএন 24 টেলিভিশন দেখতে আজই কল করুন 7187776556। লগ ইন করুন www.totalcablebd.com।
নিউ ইয়র্ক থেকে সম্প্রচারিত টিভিএন 24 টেলিভিশন বিশ্বজুড়ে বাঙালির কণ্ঠস্বর।